Welcome to Newburgh, Indiana, a small town in southern Indiana set along the banks of the Ohio River. This town was established in 1803 and is considered to be a historic town. Newburgh is home to a number of locally owned and small businesses that often host events in the town. There are also a number of restaurants in Newburgh that are all locally owned. Some of the more popular restaurants in the town are the Tin Fish, Cleo's, Cafe Arizu, Vecchio's, and the Edgewater Grill. One street in Newburgh, called Water Street, runs in parallel with the Ohio River and is always a beautiful scenic route when driving or walking through Newburgh. Newburgh has several buildings that are all maintained by the Department of Historic Preservation. You can easily identify these buildings by looking for a green plaque on the outside of the building. One of the favorite historic buildings in Newburgh is the Country Store, which sadly closed in 2013, but is now open again under new management. If you ever get the chance to see Newburgh in the summer months, then you have the chance to visit the farmers market that occurs every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. There you can purchase and look at all homemade and homegrown items such as rugs, baked goods, soaps, accessories, and various knickknacks. If you are a person who loves seeing small peaceful towns filled with history and beauty, then Newburgh is one town you'll want to visit when you have time. But even with all of its places to visit and events to go to, there is still something missing in this quiet town. Newburgh is home to several elementary schools, a few middle schools, and one high school, each with their own band program for the students. While Newburgh has hundreds of musicians, you wouldn't be able to tell from just walking through the town. Some restaurants hold gigs for local musicians, and some events like the farmers market have live musicians there to play. And every once in a while you might pass a street performer along Newburgh's Riverwalk Trail. I myself have even been one of these street performers. But why are there so few musicians playing in a town full of musical talent? Some musicians refuse to play gigs in the town because the pay is too low, and sadly, more often than not, the statement is true. A lot of local businesses pay very little to the musicians they hire to play their gigs. One reason for the lack of street performers is because the people that watch the musicians perform do not tip or tip very little, and in the few hours you are performing on the street, you may walk out with a few bucks if you're lucky. Newburgh does lack events dedicated to musicians like music festivals. Despite the locals' love of live music and watching music perform, they do little to help support the local musicians. But whose fault is it, the locals or the musicians? I do not think that it is the responsibility of the people of Newburgh to give us musicians the events and opportunities to play if we are unwilling to go out of our way to create gigs for us and other musicians to play at. It should be the job of the musician to put him or herself out into the community and not the job of the community to prop up the musician so they might play when they feel like it. We should be the ones to organize music festivals with the permission and support of the community. We should go out into the local restaurants requesting to play for their customers during meal times and not wait on them to ask us to play. We should band together and form our own community that will go out into the Newburgh community to fill the air with the sounds of music. The problem is not that the locals don't appreciate musicians, it's that they are not acclimated to the presence of musicians in their town. And we, as musicians, should be performing more often to better acclimate the community to support us and other musicians. It is our job to be the musicians of Newburgh. It is our job to make #Newburgh music.